On February 24th, 2022, Russia attacked its neighboring sovereign nation of Ukraine. President Vladimir Putin and his military leaders believed their tanks would be in the capital city of Kyiv within days. More than 1,000 days now have passed. With that milestone this week and a rush by the Biden administration to get aid into Ukrainian hands before President-elect Trump returns to the White House, both sides in the war are waiting and wondering what comes next. NBC News chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel has our Sunday focus from Ukraine.
The war in Ukraine is escalating, with the Ukrainian military taking its fight deeper into Russia, and Russian President Vladimir Putin launching a new type of high-speed ballistic missile at Ukraine. There are no means to counteract such weapons today, Putin said, claiming the nuclear-capable missile flies at 10 times the speed of sound. Russia said it targeted a munitions factory near the city of Dnipro. There were no casualties. Putin called it a successful test. It is a warning from President Putin and a response to President Biden, who, in his administration's 11th hour, and after months of lobbying from Ukraine, authorized the Ukrainian military to fire American missiles deeper into Russia for the first time since Putin invaded 2.5 years ago. To date, the United States has sent more than $175 billion worth of aid to Ukraine, far outpacing any other nation. The war has been a key campaign issue for President-elect Donald Trump, who promised to end the conflict in a day.
If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky this month admitted the war will likely end sooner under Trump. And that expectation is changing the battlefield. Putin, Zelensky, and Biden are all escalating to be in the strongest position possible before Trump takes office.
Both sides know that a negotiation is coming, and both sides want the strongest possible negotiating position when that deal gets cut.
And if these are the late rounds of this long fight, they are certainly bloody. Ukrainian-American soldier Miro Popovich has been fighting on or near the front lines since the war began.
We can't surrender. We can't surrender territories. We can't surrender our people because our existence is on the line once again.
So if Ukraine is heading to an endgame, what might it look like?
The end game very likely will be what you see is what you get, meaning the current battle lines will probably end up being the division.
Over the last 1,000 days, Russia has captured roughly 20% of Ukraine's territory, from the port city of Mariupol to the coal mining heartland of the Donbass. Russia aims to keep most or all of it to create a corridor to the Crimean Peninsula, which Putin seized a decade ago. But Ukrainians don't believe that Putin has given up on his goal to take all of Ukraine, and suspect he'll bide his time, rearm, and eventually invade again, regardless of any deal Trump may broker.
And Richard joins me now live from just outside the capital city of Kyiv. So, Richard, with that talk of a deal to end the war that would allow Russia to keep land it's taken from Ukraine, what do you expect President Zelensky to demand in return?
Well, what Ukraine wants are security guarantees. There is an impression in the United States and in parts of Europe, I think around the world really, that if President-elect Trump is able to broker a deal that if Ukraine gives up 20% of its territory, that Russia will be appeased, that Putin will stop. Ukraine gives up this land and the conflict is over. And that is not the sense here. That is certainly not what Ukrainians believe. They suspect that Putin will just bide his time and invade later. So what Zelensky, what all Ukrainians want, are some sort of guarantees to make sure that Putin doesn't just invade again after he's bided his time in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So they want a pathway to NATO. They want a lot more weapons to make this country a harder target, more difficult to invade in the future after a deal.
Fascinating look at this war 1,000 days in. Richard Engel in Ukraine for us this morning. Richard, thanks so much as always. We appreciate it.